When it comes to superstar athletes in really any sport, winning a championship is the ultimate goal.
If you ain't first, you're last.
Now, when it comes to basketball, the majority of all-time great players won their championships past the age of 25. Looking at LeBron James, won his first title age 27, Jordan age 28, Hakeem age 31, and Dirk 32. Even for the best players in NBA history, it takes some time to win your first championship. Now, with that being said, that brings us to Jayson Tatum, who according to Colin Cowherd, at only age 25, has missed his championship window.
Is he going to get a title? Ask yourself. So Jayson Tatum broke into the NBA. He wasn't as refined as LeBron and Steph. He wasn't as tough as Kawhi, as battle-hardened as the old guys, the old guard. And now, he had about a 2-year window to win a title. Because now he's got to go through Giannis in his prime, Jokic in his prime, Luka's moving into his prime, Wemby's 3 years from his prime, SGA now into his prime. And I'm not sure he's as good as any of those guys.
So, I want to stop it right there, because this take is just completely off the wall. First off, Cowherd says Jayson Tatum, coming into the NBA, wasn't as refined as Steph Curry or LeBron. Okay, that's true. But for 99.99% of players, coming into the league, they weren't LeBron, Steph Curry type level. And to hold Tatum to that standard as a rookie in hindsight, it really does make no sense. If you hold any great young player to this standard, they're going to come up short. Luka and Edwards, SGA, and especially Tatum. And the bar by Cowherd on purpose is set so ridiculously high that Tatum, of course, comes up short. Now, Cowherd making the case Tatum isn't going to win a championship soon, just because, quote, he has to go through Giannis, Jokic, Wemby, SGA, and Luka, among other players. Now, funny enough, Cowherd now apparently being pro-Jokic, pro-Giannis. Back in the day, this guy was the biggest Giannis doubter. And Cowherd being so anti-Tatum, in a way makes me weirdly confident Tatum will win a championship pretty soon, and maybe even this year. As Cowherd, much like Perkins, is kind of the universal jinx with all of his takes. And looking at those players Cowherd named, Jokic, Wemby, SGA, and Luka, all those guys are in the Western Conference. Not saying the East is weak per se, but Tatum primarily is going to play Giannis, Jimmy, the Knicks, maybe the Cavaliers, some lesser teams. And when it comes to Tatum versus Giannis, let's not act like Tatum hasn't beaten Giannis and outplayed him in big-time games. Most notably, Game 6 in Milwaukee, down 3-2, where he exploded for 46 points.
That boy is good.
Tatum at age 23, he made the NBA Finals. Historically speaking, that's almost impossible to do. And for SGA and Luka, down the line they may win a championship, may make finals, but to this point, haven't done it. And for guys like Jokic and Giannis, who are better than Tatum, when they were his age, they not once made the finals or won a championship. Again, going to show, Cowherd's overall standards for Tatum are just through the roof and insane.
So Tatum was not ready when he first got into the league. He's not as good as LeBron, not as good as Steph, not as good as the old guard. And now he's not as good as the young guard, the international guys. Was his window 2 years ago? Was that the window to win his Grand Slam? Because I'm here to tell you, he ain't Jokic. Tatum's good. He not Jokic. And I'm here to tell you, he not Giannis. And I'm watching Wemby in the third quarter last night. And in 2 years, he's not going to be Wemby.
After 3 boring minutes, The Rock says, know your role and shut your mouth!
Damn, Colin Cowherd, flaming hot takes. Jayson Tatum isn't better than Jokic. I mean, takes like that, that's why Cowherd gets paid the big bucks. Because you don't get that stuff on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. only at Fox Sports with Colin Cowherd. Now, being serious, this video really isn't about Tatum, and it's more so about the Boston Celtics. And this year, if you watch them closely, it's not a one-man team, a two-man team, even a three-man team. As the Celtics, in my opinion, are the deepest team in the NBA, and by far the best. As alongside Tatum, they have Jaylen Brown, potential All-Star, Porzingis, potential All-Star, Jrue Holiday, and then Derek White, a fringe All-Star. Boston's championship hopes, unlike past years, doesn't ride on Tatum scoring 30 or 35 points. Yes, when it comes down to it, he is the focal point of the offense and the go-to guy late in games. But from night to night, Porzingis can give you 30, Brown can give you 30, even D. White can give you 25, 30 points, and then Jrue Holiday can scratch 20. To say Tatum's Celtics are somehow exiting their championship window, I think the exact opposite. As looking at them right now, on offense, defense, just general well-roundedness, this is the best team Tatum has ever had.
Well, Dick, here's the deal. I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
And when it comes to winning MVP, guys like SGA, Luka, 100% are gunning for that. And those guys, they can have the MVP. But for someone like Tatum, his overall sights 100% are on a championship. As really since day one, Tatum has been win now mode. And after past playoff failures, finals failures, Tatum really has accomplished everything an individual could want. I mean, last year, he averaged 30 points per game and was a perennial MVP candidate. And this year, to his credit, has taken a step back offensively so his team can take 2 steps forward. And that's why when comparing stats to guys like Luka, SGA, very high usage players, you gotta take those stats with a grain of salt, because Tatum's overall aspirations are much higher than someone like Luka's Mavericks or SGA's Thunder.
Sorry, not. He's not offensively Luka. And I'll be honest about SGA. I mean, he going to average 36 a game next year? I mean, can anybody in the league stop him? I mean, the guy's incredible. And he is Canadian. That's international. Our friends to the north. All I'm saying is, Andy Murray, just the timing was lousy. Tatum was the sliver 2 years ago in the final.
Having debates, talks like these, you just gotta wonder, does Cowherd have early onset dementia? I mean, Boston last year was in Game 7 of the East Finals, and in Tatum's career had been there 4 times already. And I can almost guarantee you Colin Cowherd, by the way he's talking about SGA, he learned this guy's name last week. As when comparing these players, SGA is treated like he's 21, and Tatum like he's 91. No shade to SGA, because again, have an MVP type season. But looking at Tatum as a playoff guy, he's a known commodity and a proven superstar. As in his career, he's beaten Kevin Durant, beaten Giannis, beaten Jimmy, and Embiid. And for the majority of those guys, outplayed them in the process. And just for a quick refresher of how good Tatum was last year, this guy averaged 27 points, 11 boards, 5 assists, 1 block and 1 steal on nearly 46% shooting. That is Tatum in the NBA playoffs, an absolute monster. But looking at the media, the way they talk about him, you think Tatum was like a 22 points per game guy, 5 boards, 2 assists on 41% shooting. The overall disparity between how good Tatum is and the credit he gets, it is really out of whack.
He's not Joker. He's not Giannis. 2 years not Wemby. Can't score like Luka. And SGA right now is a better offensive player. And I think that kid's he's going to average 35 a game at some point. The only thing stopping him is Chet Holmgren may take too many shots. That kid's a scoring machine. And I just wonder, sometimes windows are really tiny for tennis stars and NBA stars. Old guard, he got overwhelmed. Young guard now international. He's not as good as these guys. And, oh, by the way, I didn't even mention Embiid, and this is my favorite Philadelphia version. Embiid now is passing the ball. Oh. Have you seen his assist totals?
Colin Cowherd is so dense when talking about Tatum's championship window closing. He brings up Joel Embiid, who's 30 years old, has never made the East Finals, let alone the NBA Finals. The irony of giving Embiid all this praise, all this credit, but then crapping on Tatum, who's only 25, is just next level delusion. And to add insult to injury, in last year's playoffs, Tatum not only beat Joel, but embarrassed him in the process. I mean, Game 7, scoring 51 on his head. That's embarrassing for an MVP player. I think Tatum's overall problem, or at least the media's problem, that he's been in the playoffs so long, had so many deep runs, he seems much older than he is. And because he's overachieved so often, been so great in the playoffs so often, you look at his resume, which is pretty lengthy, and ask, where's his championship? But you guys forget, he's only 25. So, as always, thank you guys for watching, hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.